A very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are in good. Today is 9th November 2020 days Monday. I'm sure you all have enjoyed your weekend. I would like to start today's discussion with a very positive quote. I want you guys to pay attention here that it is our attitude at the beginning of a difficult task which more than anything else, right? More than anything else, it is the attitude that will affect its successful outcome. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, before you step out of your bed, take a pledge, right? To promise yourself that you will do your best to make sure that you have one of the most productive day ever. And you will see that if you start your day, if you start something with positivity, if you start something with a hope, right? Something that you feel that you're not sure about the result, but you will do your best. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm not saying that whatever you do should be perfect. There is nothing, to be honest, that is perfect. We can give our best. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, right, don't imagine a perfect day, but just, forget about best. Just try to do something good or better throughout the day. And you will see that you will have a very, very productive day. So that's the secret. With this difference, big Diwali sale is on all our smart courses. What you're getting here is flat 50% discount. Plus, if you use this code, and I'm sure you will, if you use this Diwali 10 code, you get extra 10% off. But is this offer forever? Of course, no. This offer is going to end on 17th November, so make the most out of it. If you have doubts or questions regarding our smart courses, if you want to know more about Big Diwali Sale, all relevant information or whatever you want, right? Everything is available on our mobile application. So download our mobile app today. Dear friends, we have 4 important articles on our table. The first one is about political trend in Bihar. The second one is about India and USA. Third one is about environment, climate change and carbon neutrality. And the fourth one is about Election Commission of USA, and or you can say we are going to have a sort of comparison between what are the things that we can learn when it comes to election from USA and what are the things that USA can learn from us. So very important topic for your mains examination. So let's quickly start with the first one. It's jobs, stupid. This one is from Times of India. Now, Bihar is seen as a bellwether state. Bellwether means that you are a leader, or whatever you do, or whatever the trend is in your place, right? Other states will follow, political trends of Bihar. So I would like to add one more thing before I throw more light on this thing. There are people in our country, not everyone, right? But of course, in a few states, in few pockets of our country, there are people, they believe that Bihar has not contributed that much, and why we should have a different, we need to segment our country, or rather than having a big India, one big nation, we should have different states like Maharashtra, make it a different country. Independent country, of course, Gujarat and so many other. I'm just giving you example. I'm not saying that people in Gujarat or people in Maharashtra are demanding a different country for themselves, but this is just a small example. And many times we find that the reason why people argue or they say this sort of things is because they think that states like Bihar are a sort of burden on other industrial states or states that are good in services. They are adding huge amount of money in our total GDP or our economy, and states like Bihar, they take away everything, or they have this benefits and things coming to them. But that is a very narrow-minded way of looking at Bihar or any other struggling, or you can say aspirational state or district of our country. As far as Bihar is concerned, Bihar is a state that has given us Magad Kingdom. Bihar is associated with Buddha, Mahavira, literature, And there are so many, like Bihar plays a very important role, like Ashoka. You have this Ashok Chakra, right, on our flag, and I can go on and means there are so many things that Bihar has given to us. When it comes to economy, I'll give you just one example, that there are lakhs of people, right, foreign tourists, they visit our country just to see the place where Buddha attained enlightenment, and that is in Bihar. So many people, right, they make money. So many airlines, airports, taxi drivers, and so many of them, right, they make money because people are coming to visit a place in Bihar. So these are some important things about Bihar. Normally, no one speaks about this sort of things, but I think that we need to have this side of Bihar as well in our mind. Now, dear friends, Bihar is seen as a bellwether. I was talking about bellwether. That means Bihar is considered as a leader in the sense that whatever goes in Bihar, in terms of politics, if there is like 3 decades ago, caste was one of the most important thing. And the reason why caste is not good when it comes to politics is because it does not allow a state or a region to have a best person at a right job with a right pay at the right time. This is not possible if you have caste and religious and this sort of politics. So earlier on, caste used to play a very important role. I'm not saying that it is gone forever. It is still there. But the most interesting thing about the most recent election in Bihar is that people paid more attention to employment opportunities. So it's not just employment opportunities. If you read between the lines, then if people are asking for a job, that means they are not just asking for a job, they are asking for a stable income, they are asking for good quality or standard of living going up, or their aspiration is to have a better standard of living. And they expect that the money that they will earn, a reliable source of income that they will get every month, with that they can feed their kids, they can make sure that their kids get good education, they will make sure that elderly people get medicine and other facilities. So just employment opportunity, if your state is generating jobs, that means not just jobs, but there are so many other things, right? What do we say? Its ripple effect is going to be much bigger, much wider. So it's a good thing that people in Bihar now, particularly citizens, now they are interested more in employment opportunities and development and growth, rather than earlier on it used to be most of the time it was about caste system, or caste politics. According to CMIE data, Bihar's unemployment rate in October was 9.8%. Now, of course, I'm sure you know what is unemployment. It's not like total population of your state and how many people are not working. Unemployment means like how many people are searching for a job, and if let's say if 100 youngsters are looking for a job, and out of that 90 are able to find one, and 10 are not able to get any job, then you can say that the unemployment rate is 10%. So it is 3 percentage points higher than national average. So national average is somewhere around 6, which is not that impressive. But anyway, it's not that bad either. The state was amongst the worst hit by lockdown, as large number of young people migrate out in search of jobs. Now, the reason why people of Bihar, they particularly poor people, you find them in every big city or big cities or industrial states, etc. The reason is that even today, right, when it comes to Bihar, huge amount of population in Bihar is associated with agriculture, and we don't need that many people in agriculture. So the best thing is that one brother or one sister, or right, it doesn't matter, one family member will work or look after, or maybe two family members will look after the farmland if they have a small piece of farmland, and others will move out, others will migrate to bigger cities or towns, and they will earn whatever they can, and then they will send a little bit of money back home, so that everyone is, or the whole family is at least they can manage their survival thing or bread and butter. Therefore, the state's per capita income is the lowest, and there's pressure to migrate in search of opportunity. But this is a good trend that Bihar, or people of Bihar, their focus now is on employment, or you can say that growth and development. And Bihar has to instill this confidence in industry that it can provide a platform where investors can invest. They can set up their manufacturing plant or their industries, and they can find a safe as well as a supportive environment, so that they can have good amount of return. So this is something that government has to do and prove. But this is a good trend as far as election or politics is concerned, right? That people are more into development and growth now. With this difference, if you want to download the PDF of today's lecture, you can check out my Telegram channel. You can follow me on Facebook as well. And please don't forget to hit the like button. If you have learned something from today's discussion, please make sure that you share this lecture with other students, and do hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell as well. So let's talk about our second topic that you can see on your screen. It's about India and Biden, or India and USA. Now we know that Joe Biden, he is the next, or he is the new president of USA. For time being, Mr. Trump is president. So, but by January 2021, he is going to take over this office, Joe Biden. So, of course, this is how it works practically, that whenever you have any election going on in any country, let's say if election is going on in our country to decide who is going to be the next prime minister, then USA will also do the same thing. They will keep plan A and B. So if Narendra Modi wins, they are going to do this thing. If someone else wins, then they are going to follow plan B. So same thing, we are also going to do the same thing, right? Or we will do the same thing, that we will prepare ourselves to work with a new administration under Biden, or you can say Biden administration. Now, if we look at the things that took place in recent past between India and USA, then we find that 2+2 meeting took place, and there was this big rally when Prime Minister Modi visited Houston, or USA. He visited this place called Houston, and they had this big show. And when Mr. Trump visited here, so we had in Ahmedabad, isn't it? What was the name of that thing? I forgot. But anyway, so that was one was Howdy Modi, and this one was Kemcho Trump or something like that. I can't remember the name, but it doesn't matter. It was a signal that Modi government has invested huge amount of time, energy to get along with the Trump administration. Now, working with Mr. Trump was very difficult, as we all know, right? The whole world has never seen any US president, like we are talking about one of the most powerful person in the world. A US president is considered one of the most powerful person. And if that person is very erratic, you never know. Today he is having a discussion with you, he's giving you a bear hug, and after a few hours he will send a tweet. So it was always very difficult, very unpredictable, like how he thinks or what he will do next. But one thing is clear, that we know this thing, USA knows this thing, we know this thing, that relationship between India and USA are important, particularly when it comes to China, geopolitics, and there are so many common things as well between India and USA. There are so many, we are democracies, our community is living over there, huge amount of trade and investment, technology, security, and I can go on and on, science and technology, right, doing joint projects, and NASA and ISRO and so many other things. So on the other hand, Mr. Biden, a long-time supporter of the US-India relationship, brings to his presidency both the comfort of his understanding of foreign policy and the promise of future strategic ties. Now, of course, foreign policy is going to be a very important thing for USA, but I believe, and this particular article is also saying this thing, that the first or most important thing is going to be how to control COVID-19, because there are 1 crore cases in USA, active as well as deactive or cured. And total 230,000 people have died because of COVID-19. So this is going to be his biggest and the first big challenge. Apart from that, he will also try to restore the soul of America. Like, America is a country that has always welcomed and embraced ideas and talent and people from various different parts of the world. So, we were talking about this thing on Saturday, or was it on Friday, that you have two different, two big teams. One is radicals and one is liberals, and that's what you find in the USA. So I think he's going to restore and repair the soul of America, that we need to be more liberal, right? When I say we, I'm talking about Americans. Then he's going to reverse some of Trump-era policies. The biggest one is going to be Paris Agreement. USA is going to be back, and he's going to join this Paris Agreement. Biden has said this thing, that USA will join Paris Agreement as quickly as possible. So that is a very positive news for India, for the world, and for our environment. And he also said that he is going to sort out this Iran nuclear deal, or it is also known as JCPOA. And I have one question for you. There are 7 countries together, total, they signed this JCPOA. So send me the name of all 7 nations in the comment section. This is a question for you guys. Very important question, right? So we have this Gwadar port. We have, beg your pardon, Gwadar port is in Pakistan. We have developed this Chabahar port in Iran, and Gwadar is developed by China, but Chabahar is developed by India. So India-Iran relationship, we stopped purchasing oil from Iran because of pressure from USA. So this will be back on table. It's good for our country, for our energy security, because Iran provides us oil on credit, and even a barter system. We can send them rice and other things, and then they give us oil. So it was a very good deal for India and Iran. It was win-win for both of us, but because of this Trump administration, we stopped purchasing oil from Iran. And Iran is important for us to access Afghanistan. Iran is important for us for international north-south trade corridor. INSTC connects Moscow and Mumbai as well. And when it comes to Afghanistan, of course, bringing troops back home, that is going to continue, but it's going to be more measured rather than this Taliban deal as well. To be honest, I don't like this US Taliban deal at all. But I'm sure this Democrats, they will, or the new leader will change it for good. On China, he is likely to adopt a less confrontational attitude while maintaining a pushback. Pushback will continue, but it's going to be less aggressive. As far as India-USA issues are concerned, Jammu and Kashmir and Citizenship Amendment Act, these are the two things that may create a little bit of ups and downs, but I'm sure diplomacy will look after it. And Mr. Biden's presidency promises a change in leadership style. Policy consistency is likely to be preferred to a more personalized summit style. And the last thing is that he is going to lead by the power of example and not by the example of power. That's the biggest thing. Moving on to next item, COVID-19, climate and carbon neutrality. This article is written by Jairam Ramesh. Now, Jairam Ramesh is interesting because he was environment minister, and he's a senior leader from Congress, but that is not important, right? Whether he comes from Congress or BJP. The most important thing is he was an environment minister, and I like his articles because I have gone through so many articles written by Jairam Ramesh, and when it comes to climate change, when it comes to environment, his articles are neutral, his articles are logical, they have solutions, and they are good. So this one starts with a very interesting thing that, we write this before common era, that is BCE, and we write CE, that is common era. So we have a new BCE and CE. The new BCE is before the COVID epidemic, the world before COVID epidemic, and the world during or after COVID-19. That's we can call it CE, right? So it's very interesting. Now the thing is, I do understand, and we know this thing for sure, that COVID-19 has created a huge amount of disruption when it comes to our society, our economy, our nation, and so many other things. But COVID-19 brings with it an opportunity as well. And COVID-19 is a warning bell. COVID-19 is an eye-opener for every one of us, because COVID-19 is a zoonotic disease. It was okay, this virus was living and everyone was happy in wild world when this virus was there. But the problem is, when you destroy biodiversity, when human incursions, if we keep on expanding our boundaries, and when we kill so many, or our activities, they become the main reason why so many living organisms are dying or species are vanishing, then this virus will, of course, it will be out of the cage, and it will enter our human world. And see, just a tiny little virus has destroyed us, right? It has brought us to our knees. So what we need to do is, we need to pay more attention to R&D. Research and development is and should be our number one priority all the time, right? R&D is not something that you do when you are in trouble. R&D is something that you do continuously. You do it 365 days, 24/7, right? Someone is doing something or adding value or creating or looking for something. Research is going on forever. And chances are that if we keep on doing this thing, then there are so many problems that we can avoid. And if problem is there, right? If we are faced with a problem, then chances are that we will have something to deal with it as well. That's the strength of R&D. So first thing is research and development. Second thing is, when I say this is an eye-opener, whatever we do, right, from now on, the whole world, and I'm not just talking about China, USA, India. Yes, we are talking about big countries, we are talking about small countries, we are talking about big emitters, we are talking about those countries who are green, we are talking about each and every individual on this planet, right? Every human being. We need to develop this culture that whatever we do, we have to make sure that we do it as sustainably as possible. If you are doing something, and let's say if you are using a car, right, or if you are going to buy a car, then it's our decisions, right? If you want a big, heavy, thirsty car, right, then you have to understand that car is going to give you comfort and power and pickup and everything. But it's going to add more carbon in the air. So this sort of individual responsibility, that it should be there, and then only we will see that it will become a big topic for election. And we have to understand this 3 E's as well: evolution, ecology, and environment. Right? This should be a very common thing in our daily life. 3 E's. There is also now robust scientific evidence to show, for instance, how air pollution exacerbates the impacts of COVID-19. We have seen this thing have in some pockets of our country, like Delhi and other places. We find this many cases, and one of the reasons is because pollution was so high over there for a very long period of time, and people's lungs are not that much healthy that they can handle this sort of COVID-19 sort of disease, and we find they need ventilators, and many of them are dying because of this thing. And we find pollution everywhere, right? We have sound pollution, air pollution, water pollution, chemical contamination, deforestation, waste generation and accumulation, land degradation, excessive use of pesticides that is destroying our groundwater, that is destroying our river, and then it destroys our marine life, right? River ecosystem, and then it enters into a sea or ocean, and then it destroys our sea or ocean and marine ecosystem over there. And climate change is not something that is just a theory. We are feeling it. We are suffering from climate change everywhere. You see this big fire that took place, forest fire in the end of 2019 in Australia. Forest fire in Brazil, in Russia, in India, in California. Remember? Then we have these big cyclones, more frequent, more intense cyclones. Right, and scientists are saying that intensity and frequency of cyclones has gone up, cyclones, hurricanes, etc. And the same thing goes with droughts, same thing goes with floods, right? So earlier on, we used to be very limited, like let's say cars. So when we invented car, or let's say trains, right? So when trains were invented and when we started using trains, then it was good. It was looking very good that we can send a huge amount of man and material from one place to another safely or as quickly as possible. But do you know this thing that the steam engine, the first steam engine that released carbon in the air, is still there in the atmosphere even today? We are talking about what? It's been nearly 230 years now, 250, 260 years, something like that. And we find those carbon particles in the air even today, right? I'm talking about the first train, first steam engine. So just imagine how much we have added. So what we need carbon neutrality. Various different countries are, like American state of California has promised that it is going to be carbon neutral by 2045. European Union by 2050, China by 2060, South Korea and Japan by 2050. And we are also trying to set a date for us under Paris Agreement. We as a country, India, we have committed that we are going to have 40% of our electricity coming from non-fossil or renewable source. And basically, what is carbon neutrality? Carbon neutrality means that if you are releasing 10 tons of carbon, then your forests will absorb that 10 tons of carbon, or you have that much forest or absorbing capacity that whatever your country is releasing is taken or sucked up by your absorbing places, or like forest, for example, or your trees, right? Forest cover. So that's what carbon neutrality is, that you are releasing, but everything is absorbed. So it's zero that you are adding. It will involve massive scientific invention and technological innovation, especially when it comes to removing greenhouse gases from atmosphere. So R&D plays a very important role here. And last thing is that rather than paying too much attention on gross domestic product, we should pay more attention to green domestic product, because that's sustainability is the main thing. Without sustainable activities, we will see something like COVID-19, or we never know what is just around the corner, right? What will happen next? We don't know. Right, COVID at present, it looks okay. Now we are out of that danger zone, isn't it? In our country, recovery rate is 90%, something like that, 92%, something like the latest figure was 92% or something. So things are okay now. But just imagine if a disease, a virus comes in that has mortality rate of, let's say, 99%. It can wipe out every one of us. You never know. You never know. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to send out negativity, but this is something that can happen, right? Moving on to last topic of the day, turning the spotlight on America's election custodian. Very interesting article by Naveen B. Chawla. Naveen B. Chawla is a former chief election commissioner of our country. Now, we have gone through this US election process briefly, of course, and one thing that was missing is election commission, a federal election commission. It's not like they don't have it, they have it, but it's not as strong as Election Commission of India. In our constitution, right, Election Commission of India is bestowed with huge amount of power. It's a constitutional body. I'm sure you know that once you elect, once you appoint Chief Election Commissioner and election commissioners, then it becomes nearly impossible for the government to remove them. So that gives them security of tenure, and then they can take independent decisions. They can take decisions that are beneficial for the democracy as well as people of our country, and they are in line with our constitution. Now, during election time, ECI is so powerful that when it comes to election process, even higher judiciary does not interfere in our country, and that is the strength of our Election Commission of India. And this is something that USA can learn from us, right? In USA, this Federal Election Commission was set up in 1975, but its mandate is very narrow, right? The main job of Federal Election Commission is to enforce the law regarding campaign contributions and oversee public funding of the presidential election, and that's it, right? Here, you know it very well in our country, from this electoral roll to so many things, right? There is a long list of things, roles and responsibilities of our Election Commission of India. The other thing that is weak in USA is this Federal Election Commission is led by 6 commissioners. So 3 are from Democrats, 3 are from Republicans, and that too have to be confined by Senate. Now, the thing is, most of the time we find vacancies over there. Mr. Chawla is writing in this article that when he visited USA, when he was working for Election Commission of India, and he visited USA, then he found that there were only 2 commissioners, right? There were 4 vacancies. And the thing is, if you want to take a decision over there, then you need a quorum of at least 4 members. So you need 4 commissioners if you want to take a decision. If you have 3 commissioners and if you have 3 vacancies, or if you have 2 commissioners and 4 vacancies, then you cannot take any decision. And this is the reason why several hundred matters lie pending before the Federal Election Commission because of this lack of quorum over there. So yes, these are the things that they can learn from us. Now, when it comes to learning from them, what are the things? One more point, right? When it comes to our election, right, you cannot knock the doors of judiciary during election. You can, if you want, after election period is over. So by doing this, right, what we have ensured is that election process is not delayed. Or else what will happen is a person who wants to create a damage, he will file a case and, it will go on and on forever. So what we have done is our constitutional makers, what they did, that once things are over, then you can go and file a case in judiciary. So which has worked perfectly well for our country. One thing that we can learn from USA is postal balloting. Now, it's not like we are not using it at all. We are using it for our army jawans and for our CFPF people, or those people who are, busy with election duty. Largely government staff, they can use postal ballot system, but not normal citizens. In USA, they can use it. They have this option, and this time 40% voters, they opted for this postal ballot, mail-in ballot. So this is something that we can do here. The reason why I am so much positive about this thing is because in our country, there is no other department, if I know, that has reach like postal department or post office. You find post offices in some of the remotest villages of our country. So just, so many people it will add, more people will vote, more people they will. And if you want to vote if you want to visit a booth, you can do it. Our senior citizens or anyone else, if you think that you want to use this this mail-in ballot, then you should be allowed to, or this option should be available. Of course, you need to work out things. There are pros and cons and things, but you need to make sure that, or ECI can work it out and ensure that it is as positive as possible. So this is something that we can learn from them. Now, this topic is very important for your mains examination, but that's everything from my side as far as today's discussion is concerned. And please make sure that you make the most out of this big Diwali sale. I will see you soon with daily financial news analysis. Till then, enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai Hind.